the fact that schools are putting this type of material in a library for children is deeply disturbing to me. And the fact that they're doing it without the consent of a parent is beyond frustrating. It's infuriating.
There was a Supreme Court judge who said, "Oh, but if you don't like it, then you can just homeschool your kid or put him in a charter school, in a private
right,
school."
and then we had talked about this, and I'm like, okay, well, I flip it on your head. I'm like, how about if you're not comfortable with not having that on there, why don't you homeschool your kid?
Right.
Because what you're talking about is the minority.
Exactly. Yeah.
The minority of people want this. The
Exactly.
majority want regular freaking curriculum for their kids. They don't want to have
math, history, science,
freaking a book that shows
reading. That's it.
pretty much porn, sexual content in the book. These books, they have explicit content for children that can see. There was one about showing kids how to do a BJ. You know,
That was not in there.
One of those got in there.
Well,
One of those got in there.
Not in this case.
Not in this case, but before when they were coming in and it wasn't so regulated.
I believe in Florida that was the case, but not over there.
Yes, but the point is that it happened.
Yeah.
And like that, 1,000 books can slip through the cracks. You know what I'm saying? And it's just inappropriate. If you want to teach your kid that, or if your kid's interested in learning that, which I doubt most kids are, unless their parents are indoctrinating them. Because come on, what kid thinks about this?
Yeah.
Kids just want to they want to play with their toys, they want to play their video games, they want to play pretend, but like this whole like sexuality, they're too young to like be even thinking about that, bro.
Sexuality is such a complex thing that you don't even understand that when you're in high school, much less elementary
You don't even
school.
start to understand yourself until you're 21. That's when you start to like realize who you are. You start to learn
why am I
that's when
here?
your brain is developing more.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're more developed.
Yeah.
And it's terrible, man.
I mean, it tells you that there are people that are in power that have a different perception of what they want the generations to be and how they want them to think. And if you really think about it, if you really want to go conspiracy here, and
let's go.
We love getting in there. I believe there's a narrative that if you push this LGBTQ plus mentality on the youth, it's going to have a massive effect on birth rates, and a lot more people are not going to want to have kids because they can't. They're freaking gay or queer or whatever. Or they cut their private parts off because they've transitioned or whatever the case might be.
And it goes deeper because what it really boils down to is confusion. It's the confusion of not knowing who you are, because when you're confused, what happens? You're more easily controllable.
Yeah, super susceptible
to anything.
Yeah.
You don't know who you are. You don't have any principles. You don't have any
no foundation.
No foundation. You have nothing. So you are easily malleable and controlled.
Yeah.
Anything that's been told to you, you will believe.
It is straight up mind control.
Literally.
In the open.
And that's what it really boils down to, control.
Yeah. And on top of that, the mass migration to dilute the culture. So they want people sterile, and then they want immigrants to come in with a whole different culture to destroy the culture we've built all these years. Because America has a culture. It's just been converted and just twisted, and what's the word I'm looking for? Not just converted, perverted.
Oh, okay.
It's been very perverted over time, that now like we don't really believe we do have a culture. And of course the right is talking about the culture war. The left doesn't really talk about that. They don't think it even exists. But this LGBTQ stuff is part of the culture war, because the majority of people don't want this. It's not that we don't love gays or whatever. Like, we don't care what you do behind closed doors.
Exactly.
We don't give a shit.
Right.
Just don't push it on the kids. That's it. That's all we're asking.
Exactly.
It's not like the fact that we have to take this to the Supreme Court tells you that there is a group of people with some power and influence that is pushing this ideology. And the real question is, what for?